Hello, I'm Richard Payne from Malholden, and this half-hour segment is sort of a roundup of what I've seen at IBC. I'll be talking to a couple of people from Sonnet later on about their new technology. But first of all, with basically a chat about what we found interesting today, I'm joined by Philip Johnson, who helped me very much yesterday in a very short notice interview. So I've got him back today to tell me what he's had a chance to see this time. So,
well, I wasn't talking in authority yesterday when we were talking about the Panasonic bits and pieces, but today I had a wee wander round, and Rob Tarrant was in his usual professional mode.
Rob's a wonderful guy for that sort of thing.
He is, and he showed me the 270, which actually looks the business. I've got to say, whoever's designing the Panasonic cameras these days has really got, in my opinion, they've got it right. Because to me, a camera's got to look right before somebody. I mean, it sounds stupid, but if a camera looks like a brick, you're not going to buy a brick.
There are a lot of cameras on the market which are basically a shoebox with a lens at the front and some connections at the back. And it is ergonomically, Panasonic have always got it right, in my opinion. But I am biased.
Well, I'm not biased, but at the same time, I've got to say that 270 looked to business. The only thing that disappointed me is the AX9. Is that what's the?
Oh, the 8, the AC8. Is that the shoulder mount?
It is. Now, as far as I'm aware, I was told, not by Rob, of course, but I was told by somebody that was a 90.
An AC90. It is effectively the same sensor and the same lens as an AC90. That's right. So, I mean, it's a very low-cost shoulder mount camcorder. This is, the list price is €1,200. For a shoulder mount camera, and the pictures, the pictures should speak for themselves. It is only it's 3/4 inch chips in it, but from everything I've seen, the pictures are very good quality. One thing that lets it down is the AC90 has got XLR input, but you've only got a 3.5 mini jack with the AC8.
The bit I think they've kind of let themselves down, and I think if that had been an XLR, I think they could have hit the wedding market with that. I think with the mini jack, they're maybe missing the boat there.
It certainly looks like a serious camera. Yes. It looks like something which people will stop in the street. If you're filming on one of these, they're not going to walk in front of you so much.
Well, the other thing Panasonic had on show was a 4K. Now, a 4K monitor for say production, and they had a 4K television. But the thing that caught my eye was the 4K tablet.
A 4K tablet?
Yes.
Right.
Now, you have not seen pictures of an iPad anywhere near as good as this 4K tablet. I mean, nobody knew what the price was going to be. It was very silver and very glitzy, but the picture of it was stunning. Now, what they're saying is people like architects will take this on because you can pinch and zoom, but when you've got a 4K picture to play with, honestly, the pictures were just fantastic.
Yesterday, I've realised I'm, at the tender age of 46, my eyesight isn't what it used to be, and I'm not sure if I'm 4K ready. I'm not sure I'm ever going to be able to see that extra resolution. I actually brought my glasses yesterday, which I only wear for distance telly watching, going to the cinema and driving, because I'm only half a diopter off in one eye, but that makes all the difference. And I put them on whenever I walk past anything 4K, and I could see a difference. Now, I don't think my arms are long enough, because my sight's going the other way as well, for a 4K monitor. So I'll actually need arm extensions to hold it far enough so I can see that detail. My
only problem with Panasonic bringing out 4K monitors, etc., is, as far as I'm aware, have they actually got any cameras that are 4K?
I think you'll have to watch this space. I think we may have to go to NAB to get to that point.
But at the same time, it's
Panasonic have made a commitment that their new cameras will be 4K. That all the current developments.
I saw the new codec. That looks stunning as well. So I mean, if they go 4K,
that's
codec.
Right. They've got the codec technology to actually make a really good go of it.
Yes.
Where else have you been today?
Went to Campbell.
Yep.
And we saw a fantastic pull focus unit.
Oh, right.
And with end stops.
Yeah. So it's great. Yeah, that's a really good idea.
So effectively, what you can do is focus and say 4 feet, put your wee stop in, move it to say 10 feet, and put your wee end stop in, and it's as smooth as a baby's bottom. No, it really is. It's lovely. And of course, is it Charles from... Charles?
Yeah,
from,
Charles from Gamma, he's the guy. Yeah. Okay.
Now you know Charles can talk.
I'm afraid so.
I think he met his match today. So...
Oh, that's really good. I think tomorrow I'd really like to get you back to talk about some data video stuff. But if I'll let you go and get a few more of your blog films under your belts for now, because I've got a couple of guys from Sonic coming in. So if we can do a quick changeover, guys, I'll be back in 90 seconds or so with a couple of guys from Sonic. Maybe it'll be more than 90 seconds.
Welcome to IBC 2013. Now, over the next 4 days, I'm going to be walking the show floor, interviewing people, finding out what's new this year at IBC, and we'll be putting those videos up on our website, broadcastshow.com. So if you're watching this and you see a load of videos below me, make sure tomorrow you refresh the page, because tomorrow there will be more, and that's going to continue over the next 4 days. Also, every morning at 10 a.m. European time, 9 a.m. UK time, I will be presenting a live 2-hour show from the Teradek booth here at IBC 2013, where we will be having guests on throughout those 2 hours, again talking about all the new releases and announcements here at IBC 2013. So make sure you stay tuned to broadcastshow.com. Some you've seen, some people you've seen, some people you haven't. They will be up on our website as well, which is of course broadcastshow.com, and our YouTube channel, which is TV Bay Broadcast Show.
One of the neat things with virtual placement is that I can bring a live video feed and bring it into the system, and right away start putting virtual placement in there.
Absolutely. This is the brand new 1ME production studio 4K.
And the cool stuff is as well, at any given time, if I do this, boom, I get the magazine.
It's only day one.
Hello, thanks for sticking with us. I'm Richard Payne from Holden, doing a bit of a roundup at the end of day 2 at IBC, and I'm joined now by a couple of great guys from Sonnet. Sonnet have been building storage solutions and probably Mac-based kit for some time. What would you say? You know, we've been distributing card readers for SYS and P2, which are fundamentally faster than anything else in the market, being very high-end storage systems for editing multiple streams of 2K and now, of course, 4K footage, and some really interesting new stuff, which when I passed your stand today, I was very interested in how your new toys are going to tie in with those wonderful dusty bin ashtray-looking Mac Pros, which are going to hit our shelves and make a big impact on the market very soon. So I'm joined by Greg Laporte and Liam Hayter from Sonnet. So hello guys, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having us. Glad to be here.
So what have you found this year's IBC? Have you been busy? You've been mobbed from what I could see on your stand.
Hard to get out of the booth, a lot of interest. We're introducing Thunderbolt 2 based expansion chassis.
No.
And there's been a lot of interest in that. We've got a really multifunction, we call it the Echo 15 Thunderbolt dock.
Right.
A lot of people come to see that.
Have you got any of these bits? Because
we do. What would you like to talk about first?
What would you like to talk about?
How about the dock?
That would be great. That looks rather slick.
So,
right.
This is the Echo 15 Thunderbolt dock. When we first announced it, it was just this product.
Yeah.
And then, since then, we've added a Pro Plus model.
So we've got two Thunderbolt ports on the back.
Two Thunderbolt ports on the back. We can start on the back. So we've got two Thunderbolt ports for video pass-through.
Right.
And PCIe pass-through. So you can daisy chain up to 6 devices in a Thunderbolt chain.
Wow, right.
Interconnected.
So you could use this with a MacBook Pro for...
MacBook Pro laptop. It's originally intended to be the ideal docking station for a MacBook Pro or MacBook Air laptop. But certainly it's going to look good with a new Mac Pro on top of it.
Yeah, I'll say.
Even color coordinates well.
That's right.
But
it needs to be a bit more rounded.
A little bit more rounded. We didn't.
No, but you have knocked the edges off. That's perfect. Yeah.
A little bit. We also have FireWire port, a gigabit Ethernet port, 2 eSATA ports, each with independent controllers. So if you are rating them together externally, you're going to get a lot of good performance out of it. We have 4 USB ports.
Is that USB 3?
USB 3 ports, yes.
Fantastic.
2 in the back.
Yeah.
And 2 in the front. And
a Blu-ray writer.
We also have a DVD, CD, reader writer, and a Blu-ray reader and player.
Nice.
Part of the base model. And then something to note about the USB 3 ports is that they charge. And then one of the ports...
that's very useful.
What's that?
That's very useful.
Yeah, and then one of the ports in the front will do a fast charge for an iPad.
Yeah.
And it will also charge even when the laptop is...
Could you power this in the field? Would it be possible if you had your laptop and you didn't have a main supply? Does it take mains power or?
Yeah, it does. It has an external power supply.
But with 12 volt, presumably, as long as you've got a 12 volt source, you can power it from.
Yeah.
There's
a lot going on inside here. So this is what you see on the outside, and then there's of course audio in and out, front and back.
Right.
And then the Pro model, and then also there's a place to put a storage device. So 3.5 inch or 2.5 inch drive inside. We'll ship it with and without drives.
Right, so that could be an SSD.
It could be an SSD, exactly. And for those who really want performance, the Pro model will have 2 separate SATA controllers for 2 separate 2.5 inch drives, which more likely will be SSDs.
Right.
And then the Pro model will also have a Blu-ray burner.
I see.
So for the pros who want to, burn. So that's...
Because Mac don't quite believe in Blu-ray, do they? They're sort of
Well, they haven't, yes. Steve Jobs had his opinions about it.
And with internal storage as well, you can then use that as your time machine backup. Automate all of that onto those disks, and say if you're in an office use where you've got people bringing their own devices to work, leave the internal storage on there of the company data, they just take the machine off and run with them. So opens up a whole new sort of range of possibilities for that.
In fact, what sort of cost is this?
It starts at $399.
Right.
And then it goes up from there depending on the options that you choose.
Right. Is that dollars, euros?
US dollars.
US dollars. Right.
Sorry.
Very cost effective. Wow.
So that's the dock.
That's interesting.
It's the most fully featured dock yet to be presented for Thunderbolt.
And it's beautifully made. It's sort of machined aluminium, so the quality of it is really exceptional.
Quiet fan and good heat dissipation.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in there, but it'll stay cool.
That's an excellent piece of kit. Can I put this down here?
Sure.
You brought any other toys with you?
Well, we have. So before we roll into Thunderbolt 2, maybe we should talk about...
I must admit, I heard that Thunderbolt 2 was obviously it's an upgrade on the existing Thunderbolt, but I didn't really understand the mechanics of it. Thunderbolt sounded fast enough as it was. Why do we need to have a Thunderbolt 2 so quickly? What needs to be faster than 10 gigabits a second?
Well, so Thunderbolt 1 is 10 gigabits per second bidirectional PCIe and DVI video. So mini DisplayPort video. So you've got video traveling down the cable and you've got PCIe traveling down the cable. And
so on the new Mac Pro, there is no sort of graphics out. There's no DVI port out.
Well, there's HDMI.
There is HDMI, right?
There's HDMI and 4 USB 3 and 6 Thunderbolt 2 ports.
Right, so theoretically you could have an awful lot of monitors hanging off.
Yeah, they all support video pass-through, so just need a DisplayPort adapter on the back end.
Right,
and you can just break that out, same you can with any of the other Thunderbolt products currently on the market with the video pass-through. So that will carry across as well.
So why
have they upgraded it?
Well, because you're getting 10 gigabits per second on the PCIe channel, but if you only were using PCIe, you couldn't go to more. So if you're only using video, you couldn't share that. There was no access to the other 10 gigabits per second.
Right. So you're limited to 10 gigabits, even though theoretically it's capable of doing 20 gigabits.
Yep. So with Thunderbolt 2, they've opened that up to be flexible.
Right.
So you can take all
so
of the bandwidth.
So if you're not using the extra graphics, you can have 20 megabits. So they've doubled the speed of it.
And dedicate the bandwidth entirely to it.
20 gigabits of PCIe data or 20 gigabits of video.
So for I guess for any 4K workflows, that's going to be fundamental.
Right, and that's why Apple put, 6 Thunderbolt 2 ports and 3 Thunderbolt controllers on there. So each of those 3 controllers is capable of managing 20 gigabits per second, and so the power-hungry, the bandwidth-hungry applications.
What sort of cards will use that sort of power? What sort of applications?
The new Red Rocket X is one that will tap the limits of even 20 gigabits per second Thunderbolt. Another example is fiber channel.
Yeah.
8 and even 16 gigabit fiber.
10 gig Ethernet as well.
10 gig Ethernet. Right now over Thunderbolt, you're getting over Thunderbolt, you're getting about 70% of that.
Yeah.
You'll get the full 10 gigabit.
So what? How can we utilize that, or how can Sonnet give us something? Give us a sort of a way of using these cards in a new Mac Pro.
So this is our latest expansion chassis.
Right.
This is the front, but the interesting part is on the back.
Yeah.
So we have a line of chassis with a single port, dual port, and single slot, dual slot, and 3 slot expansion.
Yeah.
So depending on how many cards you think you're going to use at one time.
So have you got a card in here at the moment? Is this a graphics
so
card?
We've got an AJA card. And we have a dual port SATA, two port SATA card.
Yeah.
But it could be anything. And that's the point. So we've got the Thunderbolt, and then we've got expansion, and it can even accommodate one of the slots being a double wide.
Yeah.
So you might be using like a Blackmagic DeckLink Extreme 3D. You've got the HDMI breakouts. That means you're not sacrificing a mechanical slot. You've still got the extra plate, so you've got the interfacing for the rest of the features of your card.
Oh,
and that applies to any of those 2-part cards where you just have the one mechanical slot.
And so you could also use this. You could use this with a Mac Pro or a MacBook Pro. So this could be an add-on.
Exactly.
Which makes it a very flexible, solution.
So this will accommodate.
Are you going to make it in black?
Huh?
Are you going to make it in black when the?
No, this one's the silver.
Yeah.
And it'll accommodate 2 full height but half length cards.
Right. So what sort of cards are people using, and what sort of reasons are people using these? What are there in the industry? Have you got some names you can throw about of people using this kit?
Well, there's a lot of Sonnet cards that'll work in there.
Yes.
So we have USB 3 cards and SATA cards, 6 gigabit SATA cards.
Is it possible to use graphics cards in here?
Well, you're thinking of a GPU.
Yeah.
That won't fit in that one. Most of the GPUs are full-length cards.
Right.
And most of them require auxiliary power, and this particular unit does not have that.
Do you have a unit capable of doing that?
We do. We have the 3-slot, the full 3-slot. Chassis is 300 watts of power, auxiliary 75 watts to the cards.
So with something like this, you could be using Blackmagic DaVinci grading software on a laptop, but harnessing the GPU power.
Potentially could do that.
Oh.
Another example is the Avid HDX card.
Right.
It requires auxiliary power. Mm-hmm. In our 3-slot chassis, you can put 3 of them, or 2 and something else.
Like you might want to have a video board for clocking again, so something like an Intensity Pro card could go in there with your 2 HDX cards. It's quite common for the guys who are working with video and audio, trying to lock the sound to the picture. Enables that from one single chassis then as well.
Oh, that's really interesting. Oh.
So those are the kinds of cards that have been in the Mac Pro.
Yeah.
And so without any PCI expansion, they're going to go into chassis. Mm-hmm. So it's just a matter of how many cards did you have in use and how many will you be using in the future. Another example is this card, which is a PCIe card, full-length card.
Yeah.
We also have a version that comes in a half-length that would fit in here.
Going to watch my static on this. Is it 2 solid-state drives?
2 solid-state drives. We sell the card without the drives.
Yeah.
We have 2 versions of it. The Pro card.
Screwed on firmly here. Yep. So what does this give you? Presumably great speed.
960 megasecond roughly read, I think.
With 960
with a pair of 6 gig SSDs.
Right, and of course the prices of these are falling rapidly. So with that sort of capability, 960 megabytes a second, so you could handle 4K with that.
Well,
compressed 4K.
Yeah, but it really would rather have in the range of 1400 megabytes a second. But
right.
But what this is used commonly for is, for example, mezzanine storage.
Right.
Fast nearline storage, particularly with the DITs.
Yeah.
So they'll put one of these cards alongside of the Red Rocket in our chassis, and rather than an external Thunderbolt 2 SSD Thunderbolt drive, which is very fast, they can just put it right into the chassis and have it all in one with the same kind of performance that they'd have with any Thunderbolt drive.
Oh, that's really interesting.
So it's just so sometimes when you're thinking about, well, which 1 slot, 2 slot, or 3 slot is right for me, I only need 2 cards, but gee, you might
have a need for extra very fast storage.
Yeah, or they might be thinking might be forgetting that they have these external SATA drives.
Yeah,
got to plug it into something in the new Mac Pro. You could add a 2 or a 4 port SATA card.
Could you use a combination of this with a Mac Pro? Could we have one of these? One of the the unit with the Blu-ray and the black unit, which we've just put down.
The docking station, this Echo 15.
So we could
dock. Yep.
We can have a series of add-ons to give you a terrific amount of in and out.
Absolutely.
Up to about 6 devices per port.
6 devices per, and how many ports on the Mac Pro?
6 in total, with over 3 controllers, but you can just daisy chain Thunderbolt.
36
devices.
Different.
36. Yes.
Sales could be good then for you guys.
And if you design your system well enough, it's good that in terms of you do use multiple chassis, you can break off the component that you want to use in the field. So when I do production work, I have a laptop, share my hardware between that and my more powerful.
And so you only buy the
hardware
hardware once for both your in-house stuff and you're in the field going to a client stuff.
And you just take the components that you want. If you've done your system design well enough, you can just break off those parts. It's only a single cable and redeploy them where you need to, as and when you need, according to the GPU power that you need at that time.
Now, something else that's we've done for the first time, all of our PCI expansion chassis have been desktop chassis.
Yeah.
Like this one, or the 3 slot that we've been discussing. We have a smaller one that takes just 1 card, but the 3 slot chassis that provides auxiliary power is now, we have a rack mount version of it.
Right.
And I didn't bring it because it's too big.
Too big, yeah.
But I can describe it.
Well, what's your stand number? We can get people who are here to swing past.
We're in Hall 7.
Yeah, GO2.
Yeah. GO2?
GO2.
And they can see it on your website, presumably.
They see it on our website, and we're against the far wall. But the rack mount chassis is what people have actually been asking for.
Yeah.
Particularly the touring front of house guys, the DITs, and there's a little place on the side of it left over after you've got the 3 slot chassis mounted.
Right.
That we call it the mobile rack expansion kit. So you can install LTO tape, our Pro Media reader, our QIO Pro Media readers, 4 SSD drive unit, a 3.5 inch drive unit. Yeah. There's a lot of modules you can add next to your expansion, additional storage.
Oh, interesting. I've seen nestling down by your side, there's a last bit of kit you brought with you, which is, this is a mini Mac server, isn't it?
Yeah, so if you're not going to the Mac Pro, you might, let me get myself untangled.
Wow.
So, so this is the front edge of it. This is a rack mount 1U. There you go. I can see that. So we've got a USB port on the front that we brought out from the Mac Mini that racks up in 1U. And inside, it doesn't normally ship with a clear see-through, but
it does for shows.
Does for show. So here's the Mac Mini. The power button on the side that you can see over here will actually operate and turn on the Mac Mini. We provide all of the panel mount cables to bring.
And what card's in this one? What video card have you got?
Just a second. So power comes in to the back, and then we supply it to the Mac Mini. We've got all of the panel mount ports that are normally on the back inside the Mac Mini. We move them out to the external. So HDMI, Gigabit Ethernet, USB 3, all coming out.
Yeah, all here. Yep.
And then the Thunderbolt cable connects to the to the chassis itself.
How come you haven't got an internal connection to that?
Because we have to have the Thunderbolt ports, and you want 2 of them for video pass-through, and one of them needs to be external anyway.
I see.
And they have to be next to each other.
Yep.
So that forces us to pass the cable through.
Oh, it's fine. It's at the back. It doesn't matter. It's in a rack.
And we have a nice locking connector.
To stop it coming out. Yes.
And so it's secure, and it'll hold both of the ports.
Yeah, that's not going anywhere.
So there's room for PCI expansion. We can have one full length, full height the PCIe card, and one full height half-length PCIe card. And there's also auxiliary power. So and then the built-in power supply, the fans, everything's self-contained. You wouldn't even know it was a Mac Mini. Yeah. Except you're getting quite a bargain in terms of a lot of horsepower, and finally the expansion that you would need.
So what cost is this?
$1,299.
Wow.
With everything included, but the PCIe cards.
Yeah.
And the Mac Mini itself.
Of course.
If you combine that up with the Echo 3, you can actually build a very, say, like a DIC card in only 3 years storage, which will have all of your cards you might want, whether it's a Red Rocket, your graphics in and out, video I/O,
and
your
very
card
small
reader,
form
and
factor.
your actual CPU for your processing as well, all within 3U form factor, which you wouldn't be able to hit before.
That's really interesting. What about the future? What can you see?
Well, we can't talk too much about the future, but
watch the space stuff.
So as you can, the genesis of this X-Mac Mini server came from 2 things. One is we have the most popular rack mount kit for Mac Minis. It's just it'll rack up 2 Mac Minis. It's called the Rack Mac Mini.
Right.
And it brings out the USB ports, and it has the external power on and off. We had that for already a year, and we introduced that when the X-Serve went away as a way for people to start making a server out of their Mac Mini, but what was missing was the expansion.
Right.
And when we started Thunderbolt expansion on the desktop, we realized that we could put the 2 together.
Right.
And do this rack mount. So we got really good at rack mounting things, so you can count on us to come out with
a rack mount.
A rack mount for the Mac Pro.
That'll be very interesting. Well, listen, thank you very much for joining me. I've learned a lot about what's coming. I can't wait to get a Mac Pro myself and plug some Sonic kit into it. So
thank you.
Thanks, guys.
That's it. Thank you very much. Cheers.
And see you back on the show floor.
Yep, I do.
Thanks very much for watching this hastily put together wrap up from IBC, and I'll be back tomorrow with the last 3:30 wrap up. So thanks for watching, and look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thanks, guys.